Let's jump right in. We're going to talk about a prayer, really a declaration that billions of people have been saying for almost 2,000 years. And for a lot of us, it's something we say every single week, pretty much on autopilot. But what if those words are the most important words you'll ever say? I mean, really, what if unlocking what they mean could change not just what you believe, but how you believe it? Today, we're going to unpack the Nicene Creed. You know, here's the uncomfortable truth. A lot of us who say the Creed every Sunday, well, if we're honest, we can't really explain what it all means. We've inherited the words, but maybe not the weight behind them. And so it just becomes a prayer we say on autopilot. And, you know, this can lead to some really tough moments. Take the story about a woman named Maria. She'd gone to church her entire life. But when her son came home from college and hit her with this exact question, she just froze. She believed it all in her heart, but she didn't have the words to explain why. This deep dive is for that exact moment. Because the Creed isn't just some nice collection of religious phrases. It's a map. It's a battle-tested declaration of the absolute non-negotiable core beliefs of Christianity. And I'm telling you, once you understand the map, you'll never see the journey the same way again. So where did this map even come from? Well, it wasn't written in some quiet, peaceful monastery. Nope, it was forged in the fire of controversy. These words were fought for, they were debated, and they were defended with an incredible passion. The Creed was hammered out at two gigantic church councils, almost 60 years apart. And these were not calm, polite meetings. These were the settings for some of the most intense theological showdowns in all of history. Think about it like this. The early church was kind of like a new nation that had just declared its independence. Everybody agreed on the big ideas, right? But the specific details of its constitution, well, those were up for some fierce debate. The Creed became that constitution. It drew a line in the sand and said, "This is what we believe," with absolute precision and clarity. Okay, so let's get into the words themselves. The Creed makes a few claims about the nature of reality that are just absolutely radical. And it all kicks off with the very first word. So the Creed starts with "I believe." The Latin word for that is Credo. Now, what's so cool about this is where the word comes from. It's not just about, mentally agreeing with something. Credo comes from cor, which means heart, and do, which means I give. So when you say it, you're literally saying, I give my heart to this. It's a statement of total personal commitment.
And what's the first thing you give your heart to? I believe in one God, the Father Almighty, maker of heaven and earth. Okay, back in the 4th century Roman Empire, which was just swimming in different gods, this was a revolutionary, totally countercultural claim. It says, the universe isn't some accident, and it's not the result of a bunch of bickering deities. No, it has a single, personal, loving origin, a father.
But the next section, oh man, this is where the fireworks really went off. This is the part of the Creed that caused the most arguments, the most debate. This is the part people were literally willing to die for. And it all boils down to one pivotal, world-changing word. And there it is, consubstantial with the Father. This one single concept, packed into one original Greek word, would basically define the future of Christianity. That original Greek word was homoousios. It means of the same substance or of the same being. So the Creed isn't just saying Jesus is like God or a great prophet or even some kind of lesser divine being. It is making an absolute, undeniable claim. Jesus is God, period. That was the line in the sand.
And here you can really see the conflict, side by side. The most popular teaching at the time, Arianism, held that Jesus was a created being. I mean, sure, the greatest of all creations, but still created. The Council of Nicaea just flat out rejected that. They declared that Jesus is eternal, God from God, light from light, and of the same exact substance as the Father. One word and boom, the entire direction of history just pivoted.
So let's keep going and see how this all builds. After defining the Father and the Son, the Creed makes another radical claim. God is not distant. This really comes through in the section on the Holy Spirit, who is called the Lord, the giver of life. This isn't some far-off, disconnected deity. This is a God who is active and present and working in the world, right now.
And that presence, the Creed says, is expressed through the Church, which it defines with these 4 key characteristics, or marks. It's one in its unified faith.
It's holy because of its divine origin. It's Catholic, which just means universal. And it's apostolic, meaning it traces its teaching and authority right back to the original apostles. It's a statement about the Church's core identity, not about the perfection of the people in it. And that brings us to the very end of the Creed. And it's interesting, it doesn't wrap up with a moral code or a list of rules to follow. It ends with an absolutely audacious promise, a powerful statement of ultimate hope. First, you get this dark, incredible claim. I look forward to the resurrection of the dead. It's a direct challenge to the idea that death is the end. And that's followed right away by its natural consequence, and the life of the world to come. It's a bold declaration that this life right here, it's not the whole story. So what does all that add up to? The Creed ends by stating, with total conviction, that death does not get the last word. And this isn't just supposed to be a comforting thought for later. It's a specific, concrete hope in the resurrection that is meant to fundamentally change how you live your life, right now. So the big question is, how do we move all of this from just being a historical document to being a personal conviction? How do we go from a faith we've just inherited to a faith that we truly own? Well, here are 3 really simple steps. First, focus. This Sunday, when you say the Creed, don't just drone through it. Pick one line, just one, and say it like you really, truly mean it. Second, explore. The Catechism has a whole section that unpacks the Creed line by line, and you can read it for free online. And third, share it. Use these powerful statements as a launch pad for real conversations, especially with someone who might be asking those tough questions, like Maria's son. And that leaves us with one last thought. We've just spent all this time unpacking the Nicene Creed, but there's actually another major creed that's used in the Church, the Apostles' Creed. And it contains a strange, fascinating, and very rarely explained phrase about something Jesus did after his death. And we'll tackle that one in our next explainer.